Hello, 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 everybody. So the conference championship games are going on right now in college football, and we will be getting to those probably later tonight after all of the games here have wrapped up. I know that the MAC game is wrapped up. I know the Big 12 is wrapped up. I know the SEC championship game's going on right now, but I want all of them to end first before I go over them. And I also know that Duke beat Michigan State earlier, which we will be going into later tonight as well. But the first video today, it's going to be the 1874 college football season. I have not done this in a while. This one's going to be another quick one here. So last time we left off in 1873, Princeton was the national champion. And now we get to 1874, which is going to be Princeton again as the national champions, them and Yale splitting the titles. You're going to be seeing this for a while, folks, so get used to it, because Princeton and Yale are going to be splitting national championships like they're going out of style. So Princeton, Harvard, and Yale having been national champions, only Princeton and Yale officially claimed it. There was a new team that came in. It was called the Tufts Jumbos. Yes, the Tufts Jumbos played this year, and the conference standings were Yale with 3-0. Princeton were 2-0. Harvard was 1-1. Tufts was 1-0. Stevens was 3-1. Rutgers was 1-3. Gee, look at the 1869 national champions. They've really fallen on hard times. Are they going to get out of this Rutgers that they're in? You'll just have to wait and see. No, they're not going to. Columbia was 1-5. Geez, Columbia, you bring up the rear here. One of the most Ivy League schools. You have New York University and McGill. So, yeah. Princeton won this championship, another one for them. And then the Harvard versus McGill game was also played here on May 15th, 1874. It was the first rugby-style game played in the United States. You know what, here, folks? Since these ones are kind of short here, we're actually going to be doing quite a few. So hold on here. So let's let me edit the title. Yes, we're going to blast through quite a few of these. So that was 1874. So we're going to be now going over here to 1875, which was the next season. It had no clear-cut champion, with the official Division I football records listing Columbia, Harvard, and Princeton has ever been selected for national championships. So once again, Princeton and Harvard continue to win. Princeton continues to gain national titles. I guess, they were like the Alabama of this time. It didn't matter where they were. They always found a way to win. They had 3 new programs coming in: the Wesleyan Methodist, the Bates Bobcats, and the Canada All-Stars. Who are the Canada All-Stars? You're never going to hear from them again. So, 1875 season here, we have Harvard at 4-0. Of course they are. Princeton at 2-0. Columbia 4-1. Quite a rebound for Columbia after last season. You have Rutgers at 1-1-1. So they won 1, lost 1, tied 1. Geez, Rutgers, you're doing a little bit better. Yale was 2-2, defending national champions, fall back. Stevens was 3-3, and then Tufts, New York University, Wesleyan, Bates, Canada All-Stars, and CCNY were defeated. They didn't win a single game. From Tufts all the way down to Bates, lost 1 game. Canada All-Stars lost 2, and CCNY, Central College of New York, lost 3 games. Maybe they should pack it up, because they're not going to be national champions ever. So that was 1875. Doesn't really have a whole lot on it. So Princeton, Columbia, and Harvard. So 1876, folks. And get the streamers out. Get the banners ready, because Harvard is not the national champions this year. Yes, but a familiar face is. So the 1876 season had no clear-cut champion, because back then they didn't rank them. Because the AP poll didn't exist until I think it was 1932. So they had 1876. They had Yale as the national champions. Yes, folks, Yale's back. On November 11th, organized intercollegiate football was first played in the state of Pennsylvania as Princeton defeated Penn. So Princeton's still out there, still looking for teams to beat. They beat Penn, who was a established team in the Ivy League now. So this season was notable. It's Walter Camp, widely considered to be father of the sport, participate. They had three new teams yet again, the Penn Quakers, Northwestern, and the Philadelphia All-Stars. In the standings for this season, you had Yale go undefeated at 3-0. Rutgers was 1-0, but once again, Rutgers, you missed out. Should have won at least two more games, but you only played one. Harvard was 3-1-0. Princeton was 3-2-0. Stevens 2-2-0. CCNY was 1-1-0. Penn was 1-2-0. Columbia was 1-3-0. The Canada All-Stars were 0-1. McGill was 0-1. Northwestern 0-1. Philadelphia All-Stars 0-1. And New York University was 0-2-0. So that was 1876, folks. Doesn't have a whole lot. So now we're going to move to the final one here, 1877. So once again, Princeton and Yale. There seems to be a pattern here. Princeton and Yale just winning everything. Is anybody else ever going to win anything? Well, actually, yes, but not for a while here. We still got a long way to go in the Princeton and Yale dynasties. So 1877, Yale, Princeton. And the standings for this season were Yale 3-0, 3-0-1, Princeton 2-0-1, Amherst won their only game of the season, so they were undefeated. Good for you, Amherst. Harvard was 3-1-0, Columbia was 2-2-0, Rutgers was 1-2-0, so Rutgers back to losing records. Nothing new with them. Stevens was 1-3-0, and Tufts was 0-3-0. So those were those three seasons. You see Princeton and Yale winning pretty much everything, taking all the titles, and Harvard gets one and nobody else does because they don't want to share. But folks, this is going to keep going for a little while. So Princeton and Yale are going to be here for quite a long time, and you're going to see them winning and winning and winning until a certain team from the Midwest shows up in the early 1900s under Fielding Yost to win the national title. But that's a story for when we get there. But this has been Sports Talk Live with this. We're going to be doing a lot of these in succession because there's really not much information on these. I'm also going to be seeing if this takes off in popularity. I'm going to be doing a lot more with it here. I do plan to bring back the MLB time capsule as well. That's something that I really want to do. And tonight we're going to be covering the conference championship games as well as we'll be talking about Duke beating Michigan State. Earlier today, I think they won by like 3. So, yeah, this is Sports Talk Live. I'll see you folks soon. Thank you for joining me here.